Have you ever felt like you're just stuck in a loop? You know, making the same New Year's resolutions year after year, and they just never seem to stick? Well, we are about to break that cycle for good. Today, we're diving into a powerful one-day protocol from writer Dan Coe, and it's designed to completely rewire how you see yourself and, more importantly, create real, lasting change.
Yeah, I'm guessing that hits home for a lot of us, right? See, the problem isn't that we lack willpower or that we're lazy. The problem is that we're aiming at the wrong target completely. The real issue is buried much, much deeper. So here's why we get trapped in this endless cycle. It's because we try to tackle change from the outside in. We focus on all the surface level stuff, the actions, when the real meaningful work has to happen at the very foundation of who we are, at our identity. This iceberg visualizes the whole problem perfectly. Above the water, you've got second-order change. That's the stuff you can see, like trying to force yourself to go to the gym. But the real power, the real leverage, is all underwater. That's first-order change, shifting who you are at your very core. Trying to change your actions without first changing your identity, it's like building a skyscraper on a rotten foundation. It is absolutely destined to collapse. So this is the crucial takeaway right here. The identity has to come first. Think about it. A bodybuilder doesn't have to grind to eat healthy. It's just who they are. In fact, they'd have to use willpower to eat junk food. The lifestyle that gets you the result has to become totally natural to you before you ever get that result. Okay, but why is it so incredibly hard to change our identity? Well, to answer that, we have to go a little deeper into our own psychology. We have to ask the tough questions, like what's really driving our behavior, especially the behaviors we say we want to change. And this is a tough one, but it's so important. Your inaction, whether it's procrastinating on a project or just staying in a job you hate, it isn't random. It's not a mistake. It is actively serving some kind of hidden goal. And the first step is to figure out what that goal is. There's actually a psychological principle for this, and it's called teleology. All it means is that all of our behavior, every single thing we do, is aimed at a goal. So when you procrastinate, maybe the hidden goal is to protect yourself from judgment or failure. If you stay in a dead-end job, maybe the goal is safety. Your actions always reveal your true underlying goals. This diagram shows exactly how those goals forge who we are. It all starts with a goal, right? That directs your focus. Then you act, you get some feedback, and you repeat that behavior over and over until it's completely automatic. That behavior then hardens into who you think you are. And here's the kicker. You then start to defend that identity at all costs, even when it's the very thing holding you back. So, if our own identity is actively fighting against the change we want, how in the world do we break that cycle? Well, we need a new tool, a whole new way of thinking. And this is where a concept called cybernetics comes in. It's literally the art of steering your life. I absolutely love this quote from Naval Ravikant because it completely reframes what intelligence means. It's not about your IQ score, it's a practical skill. It's about how effectively you can navigate the world to get the things you actually want. And that is exactly what cybernetics is. The word itself comes from Greek and it means good at steering. You can think of a thermostat adjusting a room's temperature or a ship constantly correcting its course to reach its destination. It's the science of goal-directed, self-correcting systems. And you are one of those systems. And the process itself is beautifully simple. First, you act toward your goal. Second, you sense where you are right now. Third, you compare that to where you want to be. And fourth, you adjust your actions based on that feedback. That's it. The ability to do this, to constantly learn and iterate, that's the true mark of this kind of practical intelligence. So, how do we put all this theory into practice? It all comes together in a very concrete, one-day protocol designed to reset your life. This is where we stop talking and start doing, to find massive clarity and build a brand new trajectory for ourselves. The day itself is broken down into 3 distinct phases. The morning is all about psychological excavation, digging deep. During the day, you'll work on interrupting your autopilot mode, and then in the evening, you synthesize all of those insights into a clear, actionable plan. So the morning starts off with getting painfully, uncomfortably clear about the life you don't want. You're going to answer a really powerful question. If absolutely nothing changes for the next 5 years, what does an average Tuesday look like for me? The goal here is to create a strong negative motivation, a really vivid picture of the future you are determined to avoid at all costs. But once you have that negative energy, you don't stay there, you channel it. You use it to create what Co calls a minimum viable vision. You'll ask yourself, if I could snap my fingers and be living a totally different life in 3 years, what would an average Tuesday look like then? This gives you a positive, exciting direction to aim for. Now, journaling is great, but real change requires breaking the unconscious patterns of your daily life. That's what this next phase is all about. It's designed to jolt you out of your routine by forcing these moments of conscious reflection. You're going to set alarms on your phone with palms just like this one. Can you imagine stopping everything at 1:30 in the afternoon and being forced to confront the reality of your actions? Do they actually line up with that vision you just created, or are they serving some other hidden unconscious goal? It's an incredibly powerful pattern interrupt. Here's another example for later in the evening. This question forces you to see how often your actions are just about defending that old identity, the you that you're trying to move past, instead of building the new one that you actually desire. And finally, in the evening, you bring it all home. You take all the insights from the entire day and you turn them into a concrete, layered action plan. You define what needs to be true in 1 year. You figure out what one project you need to tackle this month, and you decide on the 2 or 3 actions you will take tomorrow to get started. But how do you make this stick? I mean, how do you keep this clarity and this motivation going beyond just one day? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is a really powerful mental model that ties everything together. You reframe your entire life as if it's a video game. Your vision, that's how you win. Your 1-year goal becomes the mission. That monthly project, that's the boss fight. And your daily actions are the quests. This simple shift in perspective makes challenges way more engaging, and it builds this mental force field that just repels distractions. And the beauty of this framework is that it's self-reinforcing. The more you engage with your game, the more real it becomes. Your focus gets sharper, distractions start to fade away, and pretty soon, this new goal-oriented way of living, well, it just becomes your new identity. It becomes who you are. Ultimately, this protocol isn't really just about setting goals. It's about consciously designing a new reality and a new identity for yourself, starting with just one single day of focused work. So, the only real question left is, what game will you choose to play?